At one point, I mentioned and didn't press the issue. Matilda had a lasting effect on animal rights when the
Ah,
family pet crow was killed.
mhm. Yeah, we have the story that she wrote for her grandchildren in the gift shop, along with a little crow figure. But yeah, what happened was that she was gone, and the I think there was a baby crow that the family took in and took care of, and then they slit its tongue because they heard that that's how you could help a crow talk or teach a crow to talk. And Matilda said, had I been around, that never would have happened. But she named the crow Uncle Tom after the I mean, today I think that resonates in a different way than it did then. At that point, it was Harriet Beecher Stowe's book that really uh, took the abolition movement into the public world in a way that hadn't happened to that point. Um, Despite what we see wrong with the book today. But so Uncle Tom became a, a pet in the household. And there's stories about Maud tossing a coin and Uncle Tom retrieving the coin and bringing it back to Maud and then playing that as a game. And Matilda said one day she heard a rapping at the door and she went to the door and nobody was there. Goes back to work, rapping at the door, goes back to the door, nobody there. This happens, she's getting frustrated and she's looking around. She's thinking there are some children that are playing a game on her. And finally she looks down and it's Uncle Tom and he's knocking, is knocking at the door and he walks in and so there's all these just delightful stories about how much Uncle Tom is a part of the household. Well, they teach Uncle Tom to speak, and they've taught Uncle Tom to say, Clark's gone for the cow. They had a barn, they had a cow. Clark took the cow to the edge of the village in the morning and then brought it back at night. And no, maybe a crow can't be taught to speak in a way that's clearly understood. But there was a neighbor who ended up, I think, committing suicide. He obviously had some serious mental problems. But he became convinced that the crow was saying old Bob Kraus and that it was mocking him. And so he paid a neighbor boy to shoot the crow. And the children were just, they were just devastated. Their pet had been killed. And so Hezekiah Joslyn, Matilda's father, said he can't be allowed to get away with this. We're going to take him to court. They took him to court, sued him, lost. I think maybe there was an appeal and they lost on appeal. But at the same time, there had been a case in New York where a bear had been transported and it was to be kept in a cold, with ice around it, and it wasn't, and the bear perished. And those two cases led to the first act in New York State protecting pets. And so Matilda, in fighting that case and the publicity around it, was partly responsible for uh, that animal protection law in New York State. A woman of many, many concerns and social justice issues.